Hi, this is Miss Crystal again with another one of our favorite books. This one is called How the Stars Fell into the Sky, and it's a Native American tale about how the earth first began. When the pulse of the first day carried into the rim of the night, the first woman said to the first man, "The people need to know the laws. To help them, we must write the laws for all to see." "Write them in the sand," he told her. "But the wind will blow them away," she answered. "Write them in the water, then." And then he turned to go, having more important matters on his mind. "But they will disappear the moment I write them in the water," the first woman called out. The first man turned impatiently back and looked at her, squatting there on the rim of the night, a blanket of stars at her feet. "Why don't you write them in the sky?" he said. "Take your jewels there and write them in the sky." So she began, slowly, first one and then the next, placing her jewels across the dome of the night, carefully designing her pattern so that all could read it. But First Woman was not alone. Behind a low tree, Coyote crouched, watching her as she crafted her carefully mosaic on the blackberry cloth of the night. He crept closer. "What are you doing?" he called to her in a voice that sounded like a whine of an arrow whistling in the wind. "Why are you tacking up the night sky with your jewels?" "Oh," she answered deliberately, shifting a star, "I am writing the laws so that all people can read them. There will be no confusion if we always can see the laws." Her hands glowed from the warmth of the stars she was touching, and she smiled as she toiled. "May I help?" Coyote asked. First Woman nodded. "Begin here," she said, and handed him a star. Coyote hung the star and stepped back to look. He hung another and another. But for each star he hung, the first woman's blanket held 100,000 more. "This is slow work," he grumbled. "Writing the laws could take many moons," she said, and began humming to herself. "Can't we find a faster way it can be done?" Coyote asked. "Why, finish," she answered. "What is there to do next that is half so important as writing the laws?" "The people will see these laws before they enter their hogans at night. The young mother will sing of them to her child, and the lonely warrior crouching in an unknown country will look up and warm himself by them. Writing the laws can be what I do each night before the rest of my life." But Coyote lacked First Woman's patience. He loved to best see a job finished. Impatiently, he gathered 2 corners of the first woman's blanket, and before she could stop him, he flung the remaining stars into the night, spilling them in wild disarray, shattering the first woman's careful pattern. The first woman leaned far into the night and watched the tumbling stars. "What have you done, you foolish animal?" she shrieked at the Coyote. He crept away while the first woman wept because there was no undoing what the Coyote had done. As the pulse of the second day brought into being, the people rose and went about their lives, never knowing what foolish haste Coyote had tumbled the stars. never knowing the reason for the confusion that would always dwell among them. And that was the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.